Okay, hello everyone. I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone. Well, where is that option? Go ahead and mute yourselves if y'all can. Where is that option?
Where is it?
It's moved.
Let's see.
Participants. You used to click on participants and it came up. Well, if y'all can, go ahead and mute yourselves and I'll try figuring that out. But I'm super excited about tonight. For one thing, we have two awesome teams joining together. Lori Harrison has invited her team, and it's so good to see some of y'all on here, some fresh faces. And then, of course, my team. So good to see you guys. And I know we're going to have more jumping on. I've had several tell me that they have something until 7:15 or 7:30, and we're going to have more hopping on. But I'm very excited about tonight. My team knows. I am a little tired. I fought a stomach bug all weekend. I have not been sick in such a long time. But I'm finally feeling better. So yay. But if I seem a little tired tonight, that's why. Super excited. I want to talk to my team here just a minute. I really want us to do a team retreat. So please think about that. We did one, I think it was like 2019. Is that right, Lynn, Terry? You guys were there. Was it 2019? Something like that. And it was such a great time. So I have no idea when, and I have no idea where. But if you are even a little tiny bit interested in a retreat, send me a message and say, yes, I'm interested. It doesn't mean I'm going to hound you and make you come and go to your house and pull you. No, nothing like that. I might do that to Terry and Lynn. No, I'm kidding. They'll be there. But just send me a message if you're at all interested. I would really like to know. And ask your teams. Ask anyone on your team, hey, would you be interested in coming? Normally during this time, I talk about our monthly specials. I'm not going to do that. I want to jump into this as quickly as possible. Go to the Help Center, type in February 2026 specials, and you'll find all the specials for this month, and they are awesome. Um, I am so excited about our speaker tonight. I'm gonna really try not to be emotional. Yes, I'm recording. But Lori Harrison, I don't think she has a clue. I'm talking about her like she's not right here, but I don't think you have a clue what you mean to me and how much you've literally changed my business. In 2015, this is going way back, we were all at convention in Phoenix, Arizona, and we were in the senior Ruby. I think Ruby and we got two Babettes on one call. Look at that. I see you guys waving at each other.
I'm telling you all, this is the lucky day if
I
this
love
happens.
it. I
Like,
love it.
and it's spelled the same, and our husbands
Yes.
are named David and all the things. So it's
I did not know that about the husbands. That is so fun. So fun. Um, but Lori, we were in this session and you started talking, and I had a friend completely walk out of my life, a friend of 17 years, and I was still really carrying that baggage. And I'm talking a best friend, like a sister. She was like a sister to my sister. She was part of the family. We were roommates for 12 years. And she completely walked out of my life. And I was still really carrying that. And Lori, I don't even know if you remember this, but you talked about that and you stood up and you just gave a visual that was, I'd seen it before, but you know, when you see something again and it's like the right time in your life to see it. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? And you acted like, a weight was chained to your ankle and you're like, you're trying to move and this is what's happening, and I had to get up and walk to the back of the room and listen because I really started crying and I don't want to be, the ugly crier and the, sitting there sobbing. But that was a real pivotal turn for my business and honestly for my life. And then in 2024, well, in 2023, I became a mama for the first time. And a few months after he was born, early 24, I made him a promise. I said I would do anything for you. And I did. And I got back on my supplements. You're like, Amber, you're a Diamond Ambassador and you weren't taking. Yes, I am recording. It says it up here in the top right corner. It's recording. Yes. Um, yeah, I wasn't taking all of my products. I was always taking active because, new mama. But I was so busy taking care of someone else that I was forgetting to take care of myself. I know that that makes sense because I'm looking at a lot of mamas and grandmamas on this call. Um, So Lori was posting all about Black Cherry Slim hunger control, Black Cherry. And I was like, okay, I already have that. It's my favorite flavor anyways. And started doing what she was talking about with the Black Cherry Slim and the Balance. I also added in Metaburn and took it every time I took my Balance. And I felt like that was such a good segue into what we're going to talk about tonight. I am down, not counting this past weekend, because from Friday till now with my stomach bug, I've lost about 5.5 pounds. We're not going to count those. But I'm down 109 pounds, you guys. With our products, with exercise, with eating differently, with some other tools in my tool belt. And I really started that because of Lori Harrison. So you have changed my life and you don't even know it. And I honestly think there's probably a lot of people who could say that, that are kind of behind the scenes watching you, Lori. I feel like, I know this is super cheese-tastic. That's a word I made up. I'll get that copyrighted, but you are the embodiment of One Plexus, I feel like. So, Lori Harrison, I turn this over to you. I love you dearly, and I'm super, super. Guys, grab a pen and paper. You're going to want it. I promise. Maybe grab some tissues too. But this is going to be good. That is amazing, Babette. 85 pounds. Good grief. That's awesome.
So, you're gonna make me cry. Jenny and I were talking, my husband and I were talking the other day that ever since his accident, like both of us are just like super. We came home, we couldn't watch anything regular television. I couldn't even watch Grey's Anatomy, and that used to be my favorite show because my nervous system was so weird. And now my nervous system seems to be a lot better, but I still cry very easily. And that was very touching. Thank you for all of that. I'll never forget you coming up to me in Maui one time outside in a parking lot outside of a restaurant. And I don't think I really knew you then. Maybe I knew of you, but I didn't really know you. And we started talking, and I've just loved you ever since then. So
I remember that very well. And I saw you. We were leaving Kihi Cafe, and I saw you in that parking lot, you and Jetty. And I was like,
Yes.
oh my gosh, I was fangirling big time. I'm like, there's Lori Harrison. This wasn't that long after, I believe, the Phoenix convention, and ran up to
Probably,
you
yeah.
and asked for a picture. And yeah, we've been buddies ever since.
So I tell you what, I have a tendency to wax on, and I made myself a promise. I did, in fact, I went live in a group that I've been hosting. I did it today on purpose to say everything I know up to this point, like that I think is relevant in this season, to see how long it takes me to say it all. And then I was like, you got to trim some fat. So I'm not going to wax on tonight. If you like the skinny version, which is what we're about to do, you're at the right place. If you leave this and you think, I wish I knew more details about certain things, anybody's invited to be in the detox group. I've been doing this group for about almost 2 years. I guess it'll be 2 years coming up. And I've done other groups that are, like she said, One Plexus type groups. And so I'm going to breeze through a few things that I feel are pertinent in this season, but also that will speak to those of you who may be going through a season that I was going through a few years ago. And when I say a few years ago, I'm talking about maybe whatever Super Saturday where they talked about share a cart for the first time. I was so in a place, I'm talking a very dark headspace about my business, about everything, even though I had started to does anybody know what Super Saturday that would have been? How long ago? I bet you might know because I was at your house.
Yeah, you were either at my house or I was at yours. It was about between 3 and 4 Super Saturdays ago, because
Okay.
I got my first, remember I sent that card
Yeah.
to that girl as we were talking?
Yeah. So however long ago it was, I was needing so badly something to cling on to and like make this my thing. I don't mean like my thing, but I'm like, I need something. And they did share a cart. And I was like, I could go back into Messenger and look for people. This is how desperate I was. Look for people who have ghosted me after I sent them my website, because that was what we had prior to being able to share a cart. I could say something like, hey, I know our website is sort of a wilderness, and I noticed that you were really interested in, and fill in the blank, whatever. They had told me that they were struggling with whatever, and I would go look back through what they had told me, and I would touch on that. And so I was wondering if that is what caused the disconnect, is you got on our website and couldn't figure it out, because even back then, if I'm being honest with you, and this is just complete vulnerability, I would get on there and couldn't find things. Still kind of happens sometimes too, I'm not gonna lie. But I would get on there and be like, what is going on? So I thought, this is a valid reason that I can reach out to people. It was my something. And in doing that, it just sparked some new conversations. That's really all I was needing, was some conversation starter. Okay. So for me, I made a little video that was like called Share a Cart Follow Up. I put it on my YouTube, and then I stuck it in my team page, and I was like, does anybody want to try this with me? Like reaching out to old people. I hated it because I hate cold messaging people, but it actually worked. It's not completely cold messaging. It was like people who had been interested. I had to dig to find these people, because that's how long it had been since I had attempted. I was in an abysmal spot with my business. Now, since then, a couple of other things that have happened. These are things that I think are way more worth mentioning to you in this moment, because this is a whole different season than that. We did the testing with the Black Cherry Hunger Control. This was since COVID has happened, but before Restore. Okay. I had gotten a few messages. I'll keep this brief, but over a 2 or 3 year span, I had gotten a handful of messages from a few people who had asked me, these people who happen to use blood glucose monitors. And I had gotten these messages saying, have you ever noticed that Black Cherry Hunger Control, has anybody ever told you Black Cherry Hunger Control sets off their glucose monitor in a more beneficial way than, I didn't even know how all that worked back then. And I was like, the first person that told me that, I was like, I put it in my little data bank, but I was like, no, I'm sorry, I've never heard that. And then over a span, after I've heard something 3 times, I'm like, it's always the same one that they're saying. So I decided to make a list of everybody I knew, my team or other teams. Like if I knew one of you guys and you use a blood glucose monitor, you went on my list. And I messaged each one of those people individually, because I didn't want there to be some sort of placebo effect. I didn't put them in a group right away. I was like, would you be willing to switch Slims? Or do you already use this Slim? Most of them didn't. Weirdly, it was not the favorite. It was everybody's second favorite or something. Like they had a bag of it. A lot of them said, I have a bag of that. I got a resounding like, whoa, how did you know this? And I'm like, I didn't. It was just like the weirdest, coolest thing. And then what happened from that is, then I made a group. Then I started saying, try this, let's do this. And then at one point we added in Balance, and just the combo of those 2 products got way better results than people had been getting. Now, during this time, I was posting about it on my wall and being like, we're getting results like the OG Slim. And I got away with that on the down low for a while, because nobody sees my post except for my people. And most of the diamonds think I'm crazy. And so they're not paying any attention. They're like, I don't know what she's saying, but well, not that. She's definitely not getting results like the OG Slim. Nobody's doing this. I don't know why she's saying that. Until one post, you know how sometimes one just goes viral, and one post went viral. And then, so everybody's seeing it. People start saying, even in the comments, what are you even talking about? So I come out and have to go public with it. And I explain in the diamond page, and it was either like, oh my gosh, I'm going to try this, like Amber said, or girl, you don't know. And so at that point, I started doing monthly challenges, and we started immediately having things that at the time, I had a loved one who had tried semaglutides. Hers was not Ozempic, which is, I guess, probably still the most popular name one, but hers was like Monjaro or something like that. And she had lost a lot of weight and got super, super sick, like bad. Not because she lost a lot of weight. She was still there was still plenty of her to love. But she had lost enough weight that she was loving it, but also was vulnerable enough to ask me if I thought it was causing some major health issues. She was telling me things that at that time, this was long enough ago, that I was like, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. But because of her experience losing that weight and what the things that she told me, this is someone I'm very closely connected to. She told me that it stopped the food noise. And I remember being like, weird, because people didn't call it food noise back then, but people were telling me the same thing about black cherry, hunger control, and balance when taken first thing together in the morning. Okay. So I was like, I started to look up what these meds did. I found a lot of information that scared the bejesus out of me, but then I also found information that talked about the GLP-1 hormone. Couldn't talk about it with any kind of intelligence back then. Like, I couldn't put together 2 and 2 about why, and I definitely did not want to talk about it like I'm doing now. I was worried that these drugs were eventually going to get black boxed, and they might, like, eventually, like, I don't know, eventually they may come out and say these are too dangerous to be used for, you know, I'm going to say recreationally, for weight loss, instead of, like, because it's a diabetic, it's a blood sugar type drug originally, which I think is interesting, since that's what our products claim is blood sugar, insulin resistance, right? Okay, so I started piecing together about how the hormone works with information that I can find. My original test group with the blood glucose monitors turned into bigger test group, and that resurrected my business to a point that I was like, does anybody else want to know what I'm doing? I mean, I was sweeping contests, and I hadn't swept a contest since 2012. I only swept one contest in my whole Plexus career, and I won a Rolex instead of a shopping spree. No, thank you. But anyway, I won a Rolex, actually in Jetty's name. He won a Rolex. He works the business too. He hasn't recently, but we are a tandem thing. But anyway, when I came to this conclusion that if I was going to resurrect my business, I wanted it to be based on 2 things: product results, because that's where retention is. Hear me when I say this. I don't care what anybody tells you about retention. I don't care if they're selling you prizes. I don't care if they are giving you iPads. I don't care if they give you laptops. The real retention is people who can't live without what we have. Like, I have a team full of those people because I moved away from weight loss for a season of about 10 years and only talked about gut health. It was not the easy hill to climb. It was an uphill climb. But also, when I look at what I did, I have retention. Does that make sense to you? I didn't take the easy route, but I have retention. Now I will say to you, I told you there were 2 things that I wanted to focus on. I'm going to tell you what those 2 things are, and I'm going to tell you tips about those, but product regimen that gave results. And I wanted to relearn how to make the algorithm on Facebook work for me, because if you know, you know, people ignore you. You think they're ignoring you, but I already knew how to make it work. I just wasn't doing it. So I'll give you that tip in a little bit too. But when we came out with Restore, I was one of the testers. Within 2 weeks of starting it, my husband had his accident, broke his neck. Horrible. It was a horrible accident. They thought he was going to be paralyzed from the neck down, which would have meant a breathing machine, the whole thing. He's recovering way better than that. Like, we're going to have a full recovery. But this was April of 2024. So late March, I had started the trial. They told me it was a weight loss trial. I get it, and it's Restore, and I was like, what? They lured me in They lured me in with a weight loss trial. And then I'm like, it's Restore. That's the reason I didn't like to do the resets. They said it's got a different flavor profile. So since I had agreed that I would take it every day, I drank it every day, morning and night. Actually, that's what I had agreed to. So I was drinking it every day, morning and night. And I started losing weight. Like I had already started because of the black cherry balance. My body composition had already started to shift, and it made a significant difference when I added in Restore. So a few months after, like I'm saying, late summer of 2024, we were back home. He had gone through rehab, and I felt comfortable enough that I could start a group. And all I did was pick people like you who were already buying Restore, just like I did with the blood glucose monitors. I initially wasn't going to use it as a prospect group. I just wanted it to be people who already bought it, because I wanted to see if the hump that people were having trouble with Restore. Some people were like, it makes me this, it doesn't do this, I can't that. I had a hunch that post-COVID bodies, I'm gonna make this as concise as I can. I believe that this is the part that you'll have to watch the wax on version in my group if you want to, but I believe that COVID was lab created. I believe that it is actually a histamine of some sorts. I believe it's actually made out of synthetic venom. I believe that the reason people's bodies stay inflamed is because their liver can't process the histamine out of their body. I have always believed that whether this company and the head people in this company, like corporate head people, know it or not, I've always believed that there was divine guidance on the company. I didn't know that the reason people were going to get well now was because their liver needed to process histamines. Long COVID, when we started this Restore group and lymphatic massage, which lymphatic massage, I'm going to demonstrate it for you in all my sexiness. I normally do this in the shower, but this is a freebie. Okay. It's literally a few pumps here. Sometimes I do clavicle, subclavian.
Let's all do it. We'll follow you. Let's all do it. Come on. Here we go.
Clavicle, subclavian, which is underneath your clavicle, armpit farts. And then you're going to do the diaphragm. This is my grandma name, Sweetie. The diaphragm, you're going to push down, 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 down for just a few. It's way easier in the shower because when your fingers are going to glide, right? Then it's the groin, but I'm not going to do that for y'all. But literally, you're just in the groin pressing and behind the knees. That's the general. I mean, there are all kinds of fun variations of it, and that's we show these in the. I show Instagram masters doing it that'll literally paint with Sharpie marker showing what the lymphatic fluid with. They'll draw arrows. Then it goes here and then it goes there. The lymphatic system in your body, which is a little different than like arteries and nerves. They're all like vessels, lymphatic vessels. The difference between the lymphatic vessels is they don't have a pump. Back in the day, I figure probably when people were hunting and gathering, that was the way that they pumped. They're like, our bodies are made, I believe our bodies are made divinely where they do what they're supposed to do. But most of us being stagnant, you got to do the lymphatic massage. And then after you get finished with behind your knees, pumping behind the knees, a little tippy toe bounce, just like you're jumping rope, but you don't come off the ground. There are tons of resources out there that teach you how to do it. It takes about 2-3 minutes. The results for people keeping their body from being stagnant, because as you're detoxing, I want you to think about this. As your body detoxes, the toxins are leaving the lymphatic system. They're leaving the tissue. But if you are not getting them to the liver, and if the liver is overwhelmed, those two things, if you can't get the toxins there, that's your job. That's your job. And if the liver is overwhelmed, and post-COVID, everybody's body is overwhelmed. If you can't make those two things happen, then all that happens when you detox is it gets in your bloodstream and then it goes right back into the tissues and you store it again. So why would you waste your time doing a detox? It is a major thing. It made a significant difference for people. Immediately, people started losing inflammation, thereby losing weight. Okay. When we started to add, like, okay, in November of 2024, they did a flash sale. And I decided I wanted to test my theory that Restore, the ingredients in Restore were also going to help with GLP-1. So they did a flash sale. Restore was on it, or I'm sorry, Hunger Control, Slim was on it. So my testing group was really just, we were doing lymphatic massage and Restore every day. We had turned it into an accountability group where I was doing a monthly challenge that's like 2 weeks long with a daily check-in. I did my lymphatic massage. I drank my Restore. People were getting great autoimmune type results. Some people were losing weight. When we added in the combo now that's called Trim and Slim, which I don't want to brag, but we were the first ones to do it. And when we did it that first November, and we did it in the order that it is now out there, where you drink them together in the morning, that's at least the way most people were doing it, take 2 Balance, and not eating between meals. I did a live in there. 2 different times I did a live in the group. I need to try to find them. I know a lot of my lives are gone because Facebook has taken down old lives, but I did a live in there at the time explaining the best I could why I thought it would help GLP-1. Why it's actually what I think it's doing. It's getting out of the way so that your body will do the natural way, the way your body's intended for that hormone to work on you. And by not eating between meals, like some people, the big testimony that's being spread around about a lady who lost 50 or 60 pounds and has kept it off, she was in my group. That's where that testimony came from. She started that when we did that, and she has kept doing it. And I went to her page today because I knew figured out who they were talking about. I was like, oh yeah, she was in my group. That's where she got it. I plain asked her, did you get that from my group? She was like, yeah, I got that from your group. Also, I said, I saw a post on her wall that said she's getting rid of, she has a bag of clothes on her wall or something like that, and she's getting rid of her size mediums because she's down to a small, but she started this journey in XXLs. Now, what has happened in my detox group and why we have a few testimonies like that. We have actually several testimonies of 50, 60 pound weight loss from that exact regimen. And a lot of people are also in that same category are also going to be on ProBio 5 and BioCleanse just because that's something that they already take, right? But in my group, a lot of people tried that for a month. And then when I switched it up and was like, now, like whatever the new product of the month was, they went with that and they didn't stick with it long enough. And so like I have 100 pound testimony. I have more than one 80 to 85 pound testimony. And we have multiple 50 to 60 pound testimonies from women of my age. I'm 51 years old. So I just to give you an idea, like in that age frame where most people claim that they start struggling to lose weight. I tried to make this go viral back then amongst leaders in the company, just the same way I did with Black Cherry Hunger Control. But there has been what I would say is like a veil of apathy amongst leaders who don't think that there's anything new under the sun. You may be one of those people. You may be thinking I'm full of crap right now, and that's okay. They did too. It took them 2 years. And now it's gone viral because they've attached GLP-1 to it. I knew that's what it was doing all along. I was a little scared to add that to it. Now, also, it's not just the GLP-1, in case you get very mixed up. The way it is getting rid of long COVID for people, our bodies are, the toxic load on our bodies for perimenopause and menopause is different than it was for our mothers. I can assure you that we are dealing with different bodies than our mothers were dealing with as we go through this stage. And I believe with everything in me that the gut and the liver are the two key components that we're dealing with, because long COVID screwed everybody's liver up. I could tell you a long story that I won't go into, but it's in the wax on version, about how I made this epiphany. It was completely a God thing, the epiphany about liver. Somebody actually said to me that, oh yeah, there's so much histamine stored in the liver. And I remember being like, I was at that time struggling with a mold exposure that I got in an Airbnb. And I was struggling to get well. And I had actually gone on this very restrictive, I'm going to call it a diet, although it wasn't for weight loss. It was to avoid my body from swelling up. My face would swell to twice its size. My ankles would completely go away if I ate the wrong thing. And it was because my histamine cup was too full. And every time, it was from COVID and then mold exposure. And every time I would do something, literally one time got a mosquito bite on my finger, my whole face swelled up. Too much. That was too much. Too much histamine. When I go into a mold exposure, you can imagine. And it took me weeks to even get any relief. And I was having to do that by the most restrictive diet I've ever done. I couldn't figure it out. It was not intuitive. Restore, being a tester on Restore, thinking I was on a weight loss trial, and that all went away. And I started being like, what is this? I didn't even know it was a liver detox. I knew nothing about Restore, except for that it was in our 3-day reset, and I didn't like it very much. Okay. Now, let me scroll down through my notes really quick. I want to be very careful. Okay. Food noise. If you decide to do this GLP-1 challenge and you think you have to snack all day, you will notice, if you do it the way that we're talking about, whether you do it, you can do it either way, because the first testimony that is coming out of everybody's mouth is the lady that I just told you about. She lost 60 pounds. She got it from my group. She is now trading out her size medium clothes and she's needing smalls. I think that's what her wall said. And she was wearing XXL. She had completely walked away from her Plexus business. Nobody was even talking to her. And all of a sudden she made a post and everybody's like, what have you been doing? And she was like, well, the thing that she learned from me 2 years before. Okay. The reason I'm sharing this with you and being so straightforward about this, because there can be a whole lot of rah and nothing to back it up. I've been there before. You can be like, you know what? This next thing is what's going to work. And the reason I'm being straight up with you and kind of shoulder shaky with you is because I'm not going to say that this is some sort of miracle. I don't really think that anything is. But I do know what it's doing to hormones. I do know that it's getting people over insulin, since it's getting people over insulin resistance. And I do know that if you can stick with a program that does those things, and if you won't snack, because the food noise really does go away. If you haven't tried it yet, try taking 2 Balance, Restore, and Slim Hunger Control Black Cherry in the morning and try to see, pay attention intentionally to see if you're hungry throughout the day. Hunger control earns its name in this instance. I'm not saying it's doing it by itself, but it's a big deal. Okay. Let's see. So we started the detox group. We started doing this challenge. Like I said, that November, I have several people who took that on as their, like, it was the group the challenge group that I'm doing is, I switch it up all the time so that people can customize what they need. Cause sometimes people need ease and they don't know it. And so sometimes I'll be like, we're always going to do Restore and lymphatic massage, But sometimes we'll add in a turbo mode, like we'll cut out sugar, or we'll do a steps challenge. We'll do this, we'll do that. It's actually been the most brilliant thing that my scatterbrain can come up with. Like I'm like, if I can do something that's always easy for beginners, but then have an added element that keeps other people always interested. We've done this, like I said, since I guess it was August of 2024. The ones that stuck with what we're now calling trim and slim, and they did it without snacking in between, that's where you're seeing these crazy weight loss testimonies. Hang on one second. Let me tell her something. Hey, buddy, can I call you back? I'm on a Zoom call. Can I call you back? I love you. Good night. I love you. Oh, grandbaby. He FaceTimes me usually after 8 o'clock. Okay. All right. I'm jumping on to the next thing. If you want a breakdown of how I do my monthly challenges, I have that written out. I mumbled about it in the Diamond page, and somebody put it in Chat GPT, and Chat GPT put it into bullet points, and I was like, oh yes. If you need to see something like that, I can share that. I want to set real expectations for the GLP-1 thing. It takes consistency. It takes hydration, and it takes a positive attitude above all things. I think I can see that amongst the people who have done it and like are getting these great results. I think the positive attitude is doing more for them than like exercise. Like it's the people who are doing it with a positive attitude are getting better results than people who are doing all the other things that you think that cause weight loss. That's my 2 cents on that. Now, if you guys want me to share about how to fix your algorithm, is that something y'all are even interested in? Would you like your Facebook algorithm to be better? Do y'all use mostly social media? Okay. I'll also share with you, but I'm going to read it really quick.
Lori, before you go into that, will you talk about how the GLP-1 is not just like for weight loss, like this is truly controlling people's sugars? Because I've seen that, especially on my team and on our team, my people's sugars going from almost 300 down into the 150s all the way to 90 something in one night, just from when they take the combo that you're talking about, doing it in the morning. They're doing it right before bed.
Okay.
And they are having amazing results on their nighttime sugar not spiking or going down. Okay. So that's another thing that if you want to talk about on the GLP-1, that it really truly does help the sugar problem for diabetics.
Well, okay. What she just said is very accurate. Like for example, if you're dealing with someone who has diabetes or any kind of insulin resistance who doesn't even actually have a weight problem, putting it at nighttime is a really good idea, or adding 2 more balance at nighttime, because there's that, whatever they call it. Is it sundowner? No, that's no, that's like Alzheimer's. There's something that they call it when people wake up and their sugar is really high. Adding balance at night, especially can very much help with that. It's not like she said, insulin resistance, hormones. It's just like the way the shots work. It's originally for people. Okay, that have blood sugar problems. Now, okay, here is my list of things that people do on Facebook that mess things up. And I'm going to give you just a little bit of a mental picture really quick. I want you to imagine walking into a room that's full of people. There's a stage and a microphone. You walk in and you don't speak to anybody. You walk up to the microphone and you say, Mattress Mart, 30% off. And everybody in the room is like, who is that? Are they talking to us? I want you to picture that the Facebook feed is like that. You didn't warm the room up. You didn't talk to anybody before you got up to the microphone. You didn't shake hands with anybody. That is the perfect image to keep in your head of how the Facebook algorithm is. If you log on to Facebook and you have not spoken to anyone, and then you just make an announcement about your sale, and especially if you copy and paste it, Facebook is robots now. First of all, they clump you with Plexus people. And so your announcement goes out to the people who already buy it. If you say Plexus, if you have Plexus in your profile, if you have your rank in your profile, these are some things that if you'll go to my profile and look, you'll be like, oh, none of that is in my profile. I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm telling you what the robots think. The AI thinks if you go to Ardmore High School, like I did, if you went to Ardmore High School and you talk about something that's local, it's more likely to show your stuff to the people who went to high school with you or people who are local. The robots know. And if you think the robots don't know, try figuring out something they don't know and putting it in your chat GPT. They know, right? So the robots run Facebook now. So here are the things that you don't want to do if you don't want to kill your algorithm. And this is a list I'll share with Amber. I meant to share it with her before the call. Stop sharing. If you hit the share button, like to share a YouTube video, to share someone else's post, to share a mommy blog, to share something, a giveaway. They're doing a giveaway and it said to tag 4 people. And if I tag 4 people, I might win that basket. All of these are killing not just the post that you're about to make and not just the post that you, that it's killing all the posts around it because it shuts you down as a spammer. If you hit the share button, it thinks it's going to take people to another site, to YouTube or something. And it just doesn't show it to anybody. That's the way the robots work. Stop sharing. If you copy and paste someone else's Plexus testimony, it goes, oh, she's one of those. So then it shows your stuff to all the Plexus people. And you might get a lot of, hey girls, oh my God, yeah, girl. Yeah, girl. Everybody's saying, yeah, girl. Yeah, girl. You know why that is? Because they're the one who's seeing your stuff. You'll notice when I talk on Facebook, sometimes I talk in code because I don't want sometimes I talk about controversial stuff and I don't want to get shadow banned. But then sometimes I talk on Facebook and I don't say Plexus. I bet you can't find the word Plexus. Maybe in the last 5 years, you'd have a problem finding the word Plexus on my Facebook wall where I've said the word Plexus. I don't share a graphic that the company shares. I don't share a graphic that has gone viral because then the robots think I'm one of you guys and I'm talking to y'all. Hope that makes sense. Okay. Don't share memories. Don't share other people's posts, podcast links, any links. Facebook sees all of the above as either spamming people or trying to take people to outside sites. Instead, create original content, use your own photos, make your own videos, tell things in your own words. Don't use AI. You might think, well, fudging and doing these things, these don'ts will only hurt this one, but it puts you in a category. They actually bench you. You get benched and you stay benched for a while. It's like, she can't act right. Okay. For repeat offenses, they just start showing you to the other people who are benched. If you've done it over and over, they're like, she's a spammer. The spammers will love her. That's what they do. First things first, stop doing those things and then stop posting about your business or product multiple times a day. And instead, we have a new goal. Our goal is to see fresh faces. So here's how we do it. I have a day 1 challenge for people when I do this. I say, go comment on 10 people's posts, people you'd like to do business with, or an algorithm of people you'd like a demographic of people. Like, let's say, talk to people that are about your age, women that are about your age. Talk to them about something they just posted about. I didn't know your kid won that award. That's so cool. Oh, what a cute puppy. It can be completely it doesn't have to be about anything important, but be authentic, be real. People can tell when you're being fake. These people might not automatically be in your newsfeed. In fact, if you're struggling with your algorithm, you're probably seeing the same 15 people over and over. But once you start hunting these people out, go to their Facebook wall, look at what they've said recently, comment on it, then it reshuffles the deck and it starts showing you fresh faces. And eventually you won't have to go hunt these people out anymore, because Facebook will start going, oh, she's not one of these. She's a community person. She talks to people her own age. She talks to people who her daughter's in dance class with. She talks to people that she went to high school with. It gives you new faces in your news feed. Okay. Right after that, after you do it the first time, I call that wake up Facebook. Then tell an engaging story, something that people are going to interact with. It doesn't have to be respond back to people in the comments. This is not something you have to do every day. I only do this every now and then, and it works every time. Set an alarm for 2 or 3 hours, come back and do the next thing. Comment on 10 people's posts again. People you'd like to do business with, post a selfie. Each time you're going to give it 10 new people. You are teaching it who you want to talk to. I did a post one time that went completely nuts that talked about turning shopping malls. And you don't want to do this one because it'll just shut you down, because now it's been done. But I turn a shopping mall into like a girls' trip, like these abandoned shopping malls where it's like each little store could be, you and your girl group could rent out Claire's or Anthony's, Penny's, Dillard's, whatever. You could rent it out for the night. And the rest of the mall, like the Cookie Factory, and I left some things out on purpose that were obvious 80s memorabilia. I was like, we could have a lazy river down the middle. We could have boys serving us drinks. I made this ridiculous post that I knew would speak to my generation. Yes. See, I left out glamour shots. I left out Orange Julius. I left out a few of the obvious ones because I wanted people going, Orange Julius? What about? And did I lose you guys? Hang on a second. Sometimes my computer bumps me to the side. Okay, there. That post went crazy, like 400 comments or something like that. And I hadn't had that kind of engagement. I can't remember the last time I'd had that kind of engagement. The next day, I make a post because I've got who's talking to me is women my age. They're all like, that's who Facebook thinks I'm friends with right now. And I'm going to use this moment. And then I come over the next day and I make a post about Plexus, but I don't say Plexus in the post. I talk about this detox challenge that we're doing, or I talk about those kind of things. This is how you hack. This is how you hack the Facebook algorithm. Now, that's another wax on. I could talk about that. And as many of you know that are on my team, I can talk about that for hours, because that is one of the most important things that you can do different for your business. But lastly, because I know I should already be wrapping up with the wrap up. But for right now, I wanted to say one more thing about this. If I could do a friendly shake, like take somebody and shake their shoulders right now and be like, girl, focus. The things I would focus on are, I would use your own authenticity, whatever place you're in right now. If you're in a place where you're like, I haven't been taking my products, or if you're in a place that you're like, I'm thinking about doing this challenge, I don't know if it's going to work for me. Or if you're in a place like, I already did it and I'm excited about it and I want other people with me. If you did it and you lost some weight, whatever, that is absolutely 100% where you have to come from when you talk on social media. Because if you come out and start educating people on GLP-1 and your whole audience is going to go, yeah, I bet you know a lot about that. If you know a lot about that, you should do it. But if you don't, your authenticity is your superpower. I haven't educated on my wall, and I probably know more about it than 90% of anybody in Plexus, maybe 99% of anybody in Plexus. I have not educated about GLP-1 on my wall. I actually said it for the first time a few days ago. The phrase. I talked about it a few days before that. And then I actually talked about this challenge a few days ago. My wall blew up like 500 comments, something like that. It was insane. Half of those comments are me saying I messaged you back. So it's 200 and something comments probably from people. But I'm sharing this with you I hope that you can get the mindset of, even if you're in the place where you're not willing to give, like, let's say you've been in Plexus for years and you're not willing to give it your all again, and you don't want to be crushed. I don't know if this makes sense to any of you. Like, you're like, I don't want to put myself out there. I don't want to try something again that doesn't work. I don't want to, whatever. If you yourself will focus on this challenge for yourself, and maybe invite like a sister and an aunt or a neighbor or a coworker to do it with you, that will give you enough steam to determine whether that is the answer for your business or not. And if you will do the Wake Up Facebook challenge, that changes everything. That's the other thing I did when the two things I focused on. I needed a product regimen that was what was causing retention on my team. And the other thing I needed to hack Facebook again. So anyway, okay. I know there's very little time left. Does your Zoom shut off at 8:00? Okay. I don't know what the questions are because I've just let them pop up and I haven't seen them. So do you want to ask them to me, Amber? Are there any that?
Sorry, I was replying there to Jan. So let me scroll up here. Thank you so much, Lori. This has been so informative. I've taken so many notes. So I know Lynn had a question. Lynn, you want to go ahead and unmute and ask your question?
Sure. Okay. Hey, Lori. Here's my question. So since I've been doing all the things, your lymphatic, listen, girl, I just do all the things. Lymphatic massage. I do the vibration plate every day. I do the GLP-1. Here's the thing. When we're just not hungry, how are we supposed to get in enough protein? I mean, literally, I'm just not hungry. And that's really a problem because I've always been hungry.
Okay. First of all, have you been for a long time taking the products the way that this combo is telling, or not?
This combo I was doing morning and bedtime. Now I'm doing lunch, 30 minutes before lunch, and then another Restore and an XOS Slim at bedtime.
Okay.
So I'm doing the GLP-1 30 minutes before lunch. And I found for me, when I was doing a Slim in the morning, I was getting hungry early afternoon because we know they're just 12-hour products, the Slims. So by me starting at 30 minutes before lunch, I'm definitely not hungry way into the evening because I've had a protein shake that's jam-packed of protein in the morning because I put yogurt in it and cottage cheese and my lean. It's full. I'm just so full after that. I mean, it takes me all morning to drink the thing.
Okay, so you don't tell anybody that I said this.
Okay.
The protein is important. Women of our age, it's important.
Yes.
People are getting results, even if they don't get all the grams of protein that they say.
Okay.
Because let me tell you, first of all, what I just told you is true. I've watched it happen. I wasn't even teaching. When I was teaching about this group, I wasn't saying so many grams of protein. I was just protein, be heavy on the protein rather than the carbs is the way I look at it. Right. Okay. So first of all, you're going to get the result. I can't promise results to anybody, but I believe, because I've seen it happen now, the results will come as long as you're doing what I said. Protein first, carbs later, right? Or a lot of people are heavy on the protein and very little carbs. But when I watch someone, this is me, this is my own personality. You might call it a personality flaw. When I watch someone show me how they get all their protein in a day, and I start to gag watching what they have to do, I think, I don't know if I could ever. And I didn't expect anybody to, and I didn't teach that. And so Yeah.
then it's okay. Then I'm okay because I'm
I
not
think so.
snacking. I've been doing this regimen for 2 months, and I mean I'm already thinner. I
Yeah.
don't know if there's something about a lot more inflammation goes away or whatever, but not pounds for me. I look a
Yes.
lot slimmer, but I weigh the same.
I
So
can tell you look smaller on this call.
yeah,
Like,
I'm definitely, my belly fat is gone, which is what is exciting to me because I'm 64. I had some belly fat. Something about when they say stuff really falls down. Well, it really does. Fell right to my belly. And
You
I never,
made your point. What's gone on in this, what with us doing this and pushing like with me, I tell my people, you need half your body weight in grams in ounces of water a day, and you need your body weight in grams of protein a day. Now, this is your ideal body weight, okay? So I'm not talking if you weigh 250 and you want to weigh 125, you need 125 grams of protein. But I also tell them, like, eat things from the earth. Like, this is, and so because if they're heavy on the protein in the mornings and then they get full, if they're going to eat things later on because it's dinner time or because it's whatever, eat whole things like steak and butter and milk and eggs and apples and, fruits and vegetables, that kind of thing. And don't go with your processed anything or your chips or whatever. So that has made the whole difference. I think that we've scared ourselves. I know with me, we've scared ourselves now that we're older, thinking, oh my God, we have not had enough protein. It's just that, like, I knew before that I was losing weight, but I was also losing my muscle because I wasn't eating any protein. I was eating all the crap food, or else I wasn't eating at all. And so if you're going to eat, pour the protein in until you get hungrier. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. I want to do something real quick. Lori, before we do more questions, did you have anything else for us? I don't want to miss out on anything. Can you tell?
Yeah. Well,
I just want to make sure because I know we're going to have some people that need to hop off at 8 o'clock. So I just want to make sure.
Okay. Okay. There was something that popped into my head a minute ago. Go ahead and go to the next question if I think of.
Okay. I know Babette Marashigi had a question, so go ahead and fire away, Babette.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, so I am curious. You said a couple things that about the regimen. I've been on the regimen for 60 days, and I'm on the opposite side of everyone else. I am gaining weight and have gained 5 pounds.
Okay.
Just from being on this regimen. Now, I'm not doing twice a day. I'm hearing other people say I'm doing a slim later in the day plus 2 more balance. I'm not doing that. I'm just doing once a day, mid-morning. It is shutting down the food noise. I am not doing the snacking. I do take 2Es, and I'm gaining weight.
Did you switch from a different slim to this slim?
I did. I went from the microbiome to the hunger control.
I know the answer to this, and I just learned it today. Okay. In fact, I'll send this to Amber because it's long to read or longish to read, but it really comes down to when your body has to adjust to is it the polydextrose? Yeah. When your body first starts adjusting to that, it can cause, especially on the scale, it can cause a weight gain, even though your body is learning how to deal with the fiber. That's the hunger control aspect comes from the fiber in it, from the polydextrose. That's where that don't feel hungry comes from. I think it said, I will send it, but I think it said it takes, how long did you say you've been on it?
2 months,
okay.
60 days.
I literally think it said 60 days. Whatever it said is what it said, and I'll send it to her. To send to you, or I'll send it to you however you need me to do that. But I think it said 60 days. It was either 6 weeks or 60 days that it said it's when your body starts recognizing, oh, you're trying to do something different here. And the person who sent it to me is a person I had this exact same conversation with today, and she had spoken with Dr. Hartman about it. He had answered, she sent me his answer, and as I read it, I said, oh, you've not done it long enough. And she said, I said, how long did you say you had done it? And she told me, and I said, your body just hasn't recognized it yet. Mm-hmm. When you go from do you eat a lot of fiber?
No.
Okay. When you go
I
from
mean,
eating
I
fiber,
do eat salads. I do eat vegetables and,
okay,
especially like Brussels sprouts and broccoli. I love that kind of stuff.
okay,
But that's really where I'm getting my fiber from.
okay. So I'm thinking I'll send that to you. It'll answer it a lot better than I can. Dr. Hartman answered it for her and said if she wanted to go back to microbiome, she could. This was after she had done a trial for something, didn't have anything to do with this. But she was wanting to really stick with this. I believe even when, are you noticing anything in your clothes? Any difference in your clothes?
Yeah, they don't fit. They're
Oh,
too
really?
tight.
Okay. So
Mhm.
it's probably bloating from the fiber. That's what I believe to be
Mhm.
going on because I hear this. It's very rare though, but I have a group of 10,000 people, so I hear a lot of things. Have heard this a few times, but it's rare. And also, if they stick with it, they get past it. I didn't know why though. I didn't know why except for just stick to itiveness until
Mhm.
today. So I'll send that to
Yeah,
you. Okay.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
if you'll send that to me too, Lori, and I'll
Yeah.
share it in our leadership.
I'll
I
send it to
mean,
you if that's okay
okay.
as well.
I was
Then
like,
I'll
by
send
all means, send it to Babette too.
okay.
Okay. We had a question about how many ballots can be
Yes.
taken in one day.
Yes.
Um, I'm going to let Lori answer this. In my experience, yes, you can take up to 4, but it's so important to also be taking your BioCleanse at night. I feel like maybe for
Agreed.
obvious reasons, you will get stopped up. You'll get constipated. Lori, do you have?
Well, before we ever did the GLP-1, what we're calling the GLP-1 challenge now, before we ever did that back in the day, I would start everybody on taking one
Yeah, start with them slow.
for a month. Like I'm just saying, I'm not saying that's what you need to do now, but I'm saying sometimes people get a rumble from it in their like almost like it's not a gassy necessarily. It's literally like a roller coaster. If you're especially if you take it and then eat carbs, your body's going, oh, she's blocking those. And it does something different in your digestive system with the carbs. So yes, I take sometimes I take 4 a day. Sometimes I do 2 in the morning and sometimes I take 2 at bedtime. Sometimes I don't remember to take it at bedtime. But yeah, 4 a day.
That's exactly what I've been doing on my journey. And like I said, just take those BioCleanse, but start on like all of our products, have your people start on them slow.
Yeah,
Like
agreed.
you don't want to throw, 6 products at them and have them taking 12 pills a day right when they first start. Their body
Agreed.
will freak out. So
Yes.
I want to go ahead and wrap up. If we want to, we can have a little bit of a little after party. Lori, I would love to ask you one thing that, yes, someone wrote Lori is a wealth of information. Kathy put that, and she is. She's also has such a beautiful soul and a wonderful, I feel like, relationship with the Lord. And so I would love to ask you to close us out in prayer and just pray over both of our teams and our businesses. I put in the chat to my team, we will be starting a weight loss challenge / contest March 1st. That will be rolling out really soon. Me and Jana, Sunday, and Stephanie are all leading it, and Alicia. It's going to be awesome. So get ready, March 1st, okay? Lori, will you pray over us? And then I'll end the recording. So if we need to say anything that we can't, no, I'm just kidding. Like, what would we say? But thank you, Lori. This has been incredible. My notes I couldn't write fast enough, but thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you to
You're
pieces.
welcome. Okay. I did think of the last thing I want to say, and it actually has to do with how I'm going to pray over you tonight. And it's this. My daughter recently, I'm going to cry. My daughter has recently been on this spiritual journey that's been so beautiful. And she said to me the other day, not knowing that Jetty and I had just recently started praying the Lord's Prayer every night together, she said, Mom, have you ever noticed that a path that you don't like sometimes takes you to a place where you never would have landed and growth you never would have seen if you didn't take the path, if life hadn't forced you down a path that you did not like? And I was like, whoa, she's about to be 25 years old in April. And I was like, yes, like my whole life looks like that. You're just basically talking about a map of my life. And she said, I've just been thinking about that so much, about how growth, usually comes from seasons that you wouldn't have picked if you could have picked them from a deck of cards. I said, yes. Okay. So that being said, I told her, I said, it's weird that you would bring that up right now because I went through a phase of like deliverance prayers over people and like booga booga prayers. And I went through a phase of that. And when I got the most peace I've ever had when Jetty and I started praying the Lord's Prayer every night. And I want you to listen. We can pray it together in just a second, but I want you to listen to what the Lord's Prayer says, because the part that says your kingdom come and your will be done, most of our prayers do not sound like that. The your will be done is a what's what I'm trying to say? Your will, not my will be done is the path my daughter was talking about. And if your Plexus business has taken you, like, let me tell you what, my Plexus business has brought me more self-growth down paths that I would not have chosen. My health journey, my husband's health journey, has taken me down more paths than I can count that I would not have ever chosen. If I was given choose from this deck, I would not have picked these cards. But also the kind of self-growth I'm talking about, I'm not talking about the kind that turns you into a leader who can delegate and ramrod a team and cold message people. It's spiritual growth that is so much deeper and so much more meaningful in every area of your life. So if your Plexus business has been a thorn in your side, as it has sometimes been in mine, and if your health journey, the two things that we've talked about tonight, has also been the growth, and some of you, I know your stories. Like, I'm looking around at how many people I actually know in here. Some of you, I know that this is speaking to you, and this is what I had already decided I was going to do when we pray, but I want you to listen to what the Lord's Prayer says, and then I want you to say it with me if you feel inclined. But first of all, our Father who art in heaven, which is Heavenly Father, is the only Father. Some people call on other gods, but our Heavenly Father, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Your kingdom come, your will be done. If that means I don't like it, there will be spiritual growth there, right? Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day what we need, our daily bread. Sorry, my screen keeps doing like this. And forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Sometimes they say, forgive us our debts, but let that be equivalent to the way that we do it for other people. Like, may you forgive me and I will forgive those who I need to forgive. Their debts, their trespasses. Lead us not into temptation. I do not want to be led into temptation, but deliver us from everything that's evil. Deliverance, the words, the fact that this prayer is not worded, it's worded like in Old English, can make us just say it and not think about what it says. But deliver us from evil. Deliverance is everything. For yours is the kingdom, yours is the power, and yours is the glory. And I always end my prayers, I know this is different, but I did a whole study on what the word amen means, and it's only in the English Bible, which was translated. If you go dig around about that, I say, and so it is, when I end a prayer, and I'm not telling you that's what to do, but when you hear me say that, you'll know that that's why I did it, because of the word amen. So if you want to say that with me, if you want to pray with me right now, I just say it the way I just said it. I don't say it the way I just said it. We can say it the way you may all know it, but know that I'm literally praying that over your team. I'll pray that over your team every night. Pray it over my team every night. So our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from everything evil. For yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. And so it is. I know that's a little different than a Lori prayer, but that's the way I pray these days.
I love it. I mean, you can't get any better than the example of prayer that God gave us.
Yeah.
So, anybody else have chills kind of all over their body? Thank you.
I
so
did.
much.
I got them too when I started talking about it.
All right, guys, do we have any more questions? I don't want to keep, I know, it's late on the East Coast, especially. Do we have any other questions? If not, we'll go ahead and wrap up. If you have a question, just unmute or put it in the chat. Going once.
Lori, you didn't
Right.
say anything about the apple. I was wondering if there was anything that needed
I'll
to
tell
be
you,
said there.
in our detox group, sometimes we add an apple as a binder.
When you're doing a reset?
When we do, like sometimes some people grabbed onto that. It helps histamines move through the system and process.
Okay.
It helps the liver actually eliminate, rather than like antihistamines cause histamines to store into tissue and then get re-released into your body. A lot of times when people start detoxing, especially from histamines, they might get itchy feet, or they might get itchy skin. They might have like nasal drip or whatever. That's very common. But if you eat an apple a day, and if you're going to do this GLP-1 thing, don't make an apple your snack. Put it with your meal. Does that make sense? Like lots of times we were doing it as a snack. So an apple pectin has binder in it, for those of you who don't know. And also, if you start doing this system and add the apple in daily, you will notice toxic bathroom smell. And that's from, I didn't know what it was at first. I was like, something's wrong, like ER wrong. The first few times I did it, I did not know what was going on. And it's heavy metals. I looked up what smells that way, and heavy metals. So sometimes pulling those heavy metals through the digestive system, rather than, I want you to picture this and then I'll let you go, but I want you to picture your body trying to detox. So imagine tissues in your body letting go of toxins. It says, okay, she's doing the things. She's taking the herb that releases whatever, toxins, heavy metals, parasites, whatever it might be. She's taking the right herb, so it releases it. It gets into your bloodstream, it gets into your lymphatic fluid, whatever it does. And if your liver can't process it, and if you're not helping with the lymphatic, your job is the lymphatic fluid. Your liver's job is to actually process it and eliminate it. And if those two things don't happen, it just goes back and stores itself in tissue, and you're still dealing with the same symptoms. And sometimes it's worse. Sometimes the symptoms are worse because you've re-released it again. At least it was stored in a tissue before, but you've put it back into your bloodstream again. This is why people go through what they call Herxheimer when they're doing candida, a candida flush. And this is why they go through hard detox symptoms, is if they don't understand how to get it out. Once you convince your body to release it from the tissue, but if their digestive system is backed up, if any of that is not working, especially the liver is way more important than I realized. I've studied it in depth now, and Restore has made a significant difference. We've had people get back liver panels after only like 2 weeks of doing Restore, having had fatty liver, and they do Restore for 2 weeks and their liver panel comes back normal. That's incredible, because they'll put you on a med for the rest of your life. You go to the doctor. Okay.
That's incredible. Only on a call with Lori Harrison could we go from the Lord's Prayer to toxic bathroom smell in like a minute and a half.
You're welcome.
I love it. I love it. All right, guys, we'll go ahead and wrap up. Lori, thank you again. I think you probably have a little bit of a bigger brain than the rest of us, but anyway, love you guys. Have a wonderful
Hey, some of you may get a rash if you're just starting to detox with Restore.
Yeah.
Remember, I messaged you, Lori. I had a rash only on my arms, but
Yes.
it went away like after the first 2 weeks. So
Okay.
Detox baths help too, like Epsom salt, magnesium flakes, those kind of things help. So,
Yeah.
all
All
right.
right.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. I'll post the recording in my page and I'll send it to Lori to share with her team. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.